People think and plan and shop until they drive themselves crazy, and they finally decide on the one rig they think is the right one to launch their nomadic life. But was it the right one, or wasn't it? Today, I'll tell you what I found to be true. Hey everybody, it's Robin with Creativity RV, and as you might know, I live full-time in my Class C RV, which I'm in right now. Now this was not my first rig. This is my second one. I started out with a B+ van, and I traded it into this one, partially because I was having some problems with the first one, but I chose this one because it was a better floor plan for me at the time. But I'll tell you that I plan to keep that first one for 5 years. And I did spreadsheets, and I planned, and I shopped, and I looked, and I was certain that that first B+ was the one that I was going to keep for a long time. It didn't work out. And then I got my Class C RV, and I was certain I would keep that for 5 years. But I'll tell you what, things change, and life changes, and what we need changes. And with that, your rig might change too. As you guys might know, I've interviewed all kinds of nomads, not just for YouTube, but also for my blog and some other things I've been working on. And I'm talking about all different kinds of budgets and ages and races and status and desire for what they want on the road. And one thing I found to be true with almost all of them, except for just a couple, is that they change their rigs. And like I mentioned, I think before in some videos and also in my book, Be a Nomad, Change Your Life, usually I find that people change around the 1 year mark. Now, of course, there are exceptions, like this guy, who I interviewed for my video called Casino Camper, who has this great Class A that he's had for, I think he said, 20 years or more. His situation, though, is that he spends 6 months in one place and 6 months in another. And so he just needs a nice living space that works for him, and then he has a tow car that he can drive around, so that worked for him. Another example is my friend Carol, who has a 27-foot Class C, I believe, and I interviewed her in the past, and she's been in some of my prior videos. You guys probably remember her. And she's super happy with her rig, which I'm psyched for her about. It works for her. She says that she could have a couple of changes on it. You know, not everything's perfect, but overall it works for her. Other than that, I must say, I think almost every other person I've ever talked to has changed their rig. Like this group of RVing women that I interviewed a while back, and several of these women have been on the road, part-time or full-time, for 20 or 30 years. This group started in the 70s, and they were really great to talk to about this because several of them told me that they'd had every single kind of conceivable rig, or like my friend Peggy, who started out in a minivan and then decided that she needed more room to go full-time, so she went to a B+ van. Or this couple that I met while I was doing some interviews that had a very nice Class A, parked full-time in an RV park in Victoria, Canada, I believe. And they wanted to see the United States. Their Class A was too big, so they switched to a truck camper, and they could not have been happier. They were going to do that for 2 years and just travel around the U.S. And like my friend Tiki, who I interviewed for the Find It With Tiki Organizational Genius video, who had the sweetest self-built Class C you've ever seen. The outside was a regular Class C, but she'd gutted the inside and made it into this beauty. And she thought when she first started on the road that she wanted to travel more. And over time, she discovered that she wanted to be parked more. So she actually bought a piece of land, got a used fifth wheel, and then fixed that one up, and is now there full-time. Here's why I give you all of these examples, because I think that when some of us make the decision to go out on the road full-time, it's such an odd decision to some people that have never heard of it before. Of course, once you tell them, most of them go, oh my God, that's so cool, I want to do that. But we feel like we have to justify that decision, and they're going to think we're making the wrong decision. Like if they change their rig in a year, maybe their friends and family will think that they screwed up and they didn't do it the right way. Or maybe you're already on the road and you started out in RV parks. Let's say you've got a membership to Thousand Trails or something, and you've got friends there, but you discovered boondocking and you love to be out boondocking away from other people. Or the reverse might be true, and you thought that was for you, and then you discovered that along the way you actually wanted to hook up, or you wanted to just be able to drive to a national forest campground or something like that. It's fine. This is what I want to tell you guys. You know that I have used the expression camp like you before, because I find that there can be some cliques out there, and you get into certain forums or groups on Facebook, and sometimes people can be so adamant that their way is the right way that if you tell them you're considering another way, they can kind of jump on you. And I want to let you guys know that I think it's more normal to switch, and it's normal to have your life change. Like, maybe you have a partner or lost a partner, or your job changes, or your health changes, or just what you want changes. I mean, I can tell you for me, when I first went on the road, and this is true for a lot of other people too, I wanted to go, go, go. I was so excited about my nomadic life. I wanted to see a lot of stuff, and so I was moving like every 2 days, every 3 days, and every 5 days. And now I'll tell you, I still want to go. There's a bunch of stuff I want to see. I feel like my life is not long enough to see all the stuff I want to see, but I don't want to be driving as much. I don't want to be searching as much. I want to be enjoying my life and sitting in one place for a longer period of time. So for me, I chose this Class C because I thought it was more nimble, it'd be easier to drive. I can go into towns easier, and that's true. Now I look at it and I go, well, maybe at some point I'll want more living space. I don't know. And if that's the case, then I'm going to feel okay about it, because one of the benefits of choosing this life, which is a little bit non-traditional, is that we get to choose what kind of a life we have and how we want to live it, more than the average bear. And what goes along with that is that when you get on the road and you actually have spent that time out there, you have the benefit of getting closer to knowing what you really want. And you really don't know until you're out there. All you can do right now is imagine what you want and then go for the rig that you think matches that. And just know this, based on my experience with a lot of different nomads out there, it's probably going to change. And if it does, it's totally okay. To me, living in an RV is just another housing option, although it's a really cool housing option. But just like in houses, things are going to change. So sometimes when you go out on the road, you might want to think about your first rig as a starter house and know that eventually you're going to get to just the right house for you. So if you're one of the people out there that's already on the road and you have a rig and you don't know if it's working for you, think about all the options that are out there. You've been on the road, you've seen them. There are, little teardrop trailers and Airstreams and fifth wheels and schwanky Class A's and Skoolies and self-built box trucks and transit vans and camper vans and minivans and B-plus vans. I mean, there are a million types of rigs out there. And if you want to switch, I say switch, go for it. Just remember that when you choose to be a nomad, you're not choosing a rig, you're choosing a life. The life is the choice. That's what you're doing. The rig is just details, and the rigs come and go. It's your life and living your dream that remains. I hope this has helped you guys. If you have any friends that could use this, please do share it with them. Give this video a thumbs up because it helps other people discover this channel. I hope to see you all out on the road someday soon. Until then, I hope you're all having happy travels out there. And be free.